You tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the Sportscast. Tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need.
Hey guys, welcome in to the Sportscast, brought to you by the Outspoken Network. The gang is back. I got your hosts Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Guys, how's it going?
Going good.
Pretty good. Hanging in there. All right, guys. Well, we're on to talk about some playoffs. We got the NBA playoffs going on. We got the NHL playoffs going on. We'll maybe hit a little bit of baseball at the end of it. But what a series it's been for the Dallas Mavericks, man. Up 2-0 right now over the Timberwolves. Did you guys see this coming from them to be in the Western Finals again?
No. I didn't expect it to be happening this quickly. I didn't expect it to. I knew they were obviously going to be in the playoffs, but it's kind of one of those where, who do we match up well against? Who do we not match up well against? The Clippers series was kind of like they're kind of getting older. I think maybe we match up pretty well with them. You had Kawhi not out or was not playing, so. But yeah, I didn't see it coming. Not to this degree. I don't know about Craig.
I just think they've had some very favorable matchups. They match up well against the Clippers, and then they go and catch a team that really wasn't gelled together the next round, and then they avoid Denver by Minnesota shocking them and going into Denver multiple times and beating Denver. And I just think that Minnesota was a way better matchup than Denver. I think we all kind of saw Denver as the team to beat and the team that would probably represent the West in the finals, and they match up well against the Timberwolves, and Luka and Kyrie. Kyrie's had 2 very, very good games, and he had a very good game to end the other series. He took over in the fourth quarter and scores 14, and so Kyrie has been well, and I think that group, that tandem is finally meshing.
Yeah, they really put their stride together. I didn't think we'd have the success this season. Obviously a playoff team. Didn't know what we were going to get. We do. I think the Nuggets just kind of ran out of steam. They've been in it long, going really long into the playoffs each season, and they won the championship last year. They just seemed a little tired. Jokic didn't seem himself, and I thought the Timberwolves would match up better. I thought Timberwolves would be a harder matchup for us, in my opinion, just because the big guys down low. But they're really not they don't have an answer for Luka right now. Luka, they are trying to take away our 3-point shots, and Luka, especially in the first game, was able to get all the looks he wanted in the paint. We scored so many points in the paint. And then the other night when the Mavericks were down by 18 going in a half, got it down to 12, fought back to the point where we made it a game again, and Luka hits a 3-pointer. Jeff, you want to play that video?
Yeah.
Down by 2. There's the switch. Gobert is out there. Doncic maneuvers for the lead. Got it! Got it! What a shot! Dallas has taken the lead.
Long time, and it's only a 1-point lead here. But that's just Rudy Gobert in an impossible situation. I don't totally understand. I know they wanted to switch back with McDaniel, but Lively did a great job getting out of there.
But, Coach, look at this. He had him on skates from the beginning. My goodness.
I agree.
Damn.
That clip, that was awesome. I was texting my buddy, and we were talking about it, and I literally said Luka with a step back 3. I was like, they're probably going to be guarding him very, very heavily, and he ends up doing it anyways.
Well, I don't think that was the plan.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Gobert was the guy that is. I don't think that was a plan to even shoot that shot. But once he saw Gobert,
they actually interviewed Luka at the end, and they said, "Was that the plan?" He's like, "No." He goes, "That wasn't the plan unless Gobert stayed on me." Lively did a good job of setting the screen and actually forcing McDaniels to go with him. And at that point, it was in our favor. It was a great game. We should not have won that game. We did. We fought back. We never gave up, and now we got a 2-0 lead over the Timberwolves. But as you go back, I think we were favored over the Clippers. The Thunder is a team that surprised the world. Number 1 spot in the West. They're very young, and like Craig said, we don't think they were ready to win, right? That comes with knowledge. It comes with years of experience in the veteran leadership, and they're really, really young. They're going to be a force for a long time, I think, with their youth. But to me, I may be talking a little crazy. I think the Mavericks are the best basketball team left in the league. I think not only our offense, we may not be the best offensive team, but our defense is really good. They only, Boston over there versus Pacers, and they're up 3-0 over the Pacers, as the Pacers blew a chance to get back into the series the other night. They scare me offensively, but our defense has been playing really well. Porzingis' health is a question mark, as it usually is. It's going to be an interesting series. I think, if we win tonight, it's definitely going to be over pretty much for our series. The Boston series is over, and Boston's kind of been the favorite over there in the Eastern Conference this whole time. I mean, I thought the Knicks might give them some trouble, but the Knicks didn't get past the Pacers, and that matchup right there heavily favors Boston over the Pacers.
Yeah, the only match. I mean, the only Boston would have been the Knicks. It's the only team you saw getting in their way.
Yeah.
And then when they Indiana's just way over Matt.
And I'm surprised. I thought 76ers might be there because they're a good basketball team, but they were missing their big man Embiid most of the year. When he came back, I thought maybe this will give him the oomph to move on. But the Knicks with Brunson took over. He got injured in the Pacers series, and the Pacers ended up moving on. So honestly, I think it's going to be Boston versus Dallas. And what's interesting here is Kyrie Irving is going more than likely. Now the series isn't over yet, but Kyrie going back to Boston is going to be insane. Y'all remember He did him dirty. He did do him dirty. There's no argument there. He did him really dirty. It's going to be interesting. They're going to hate him. I think that fuels him more to want to go in and win. He's got a lot, lying on his legacy as well. But I'm looking forward to that matchup, Boston versus Dallas. I think it go. If I'm not trying to look too far ahead, but 7 games series. I mean, it's going to be a good one.
I mean, I the thing about it is, and some people, there's been a lot of analysts taking shots at Dallas, Stephen A. Smith being one. And the thing is, he's like, oh yeah, Lucas shouldn't have been, what is it, NBA all team, whatever the picks when they do all the top players or whatever. He should have been. It should have been Brunson. because Brunson's team was second seed and Dallas was 5. I'm like that. The thing about it is the Mavericks season. This season has been a tale of two seasons. And tells who has, I should say. First half injuries, people not playing, Kyrie out, Luka out. Then here comes everybody getting healthy. Then the trade deadline happens, and they add Gafford, and they add PJ Washington, and then all of a sudden, the last 20 games of the season, you find out, oh no, this was the top defensive team. The last 20 games, and I'm like, okay, then that 5 is not does not truly represent this team. There are 5 coming in, but it doesn't represent what we're seeing, right?
Right.
So,
And at that point, I don't even care where they're seated. Just get in.
exactly, yeah, and that's with any sport,
Yeah.
right? So this whole seeding thing is so trivial because some people are like, there's analysts out there kind of making that point, and I'm like, I don't really understand what you're talking about, because if there's anything we know, right, when it comes to any sport, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, hockey, it doesn't matter what seed you are.
Yeah.
You can knock out anybody can get knocked out at any moment, because guess what?
That's
Any team in this, they're good, and they're good enough to be there. So there's a lot of
like in hockey when you get a hot goaltender, it doesn't matter what seed you are.
Right, exactly.
Derpy's back. Welcome in, Derpy. Derpy says, I just wanted to comment and point out how badass Craig's shirt is. So he's digging your T-shirt. I can't really see. What is it? I mean, I don't.
It's Cobra Kai.
Oh, Cobra Kai. Okay,
Cobra Kai. Yeah.
See, I didn't watch any of that, so it's my bad, Derpy. I mean, I'll put it on the list.
I just want to go on record as saying I'm impressed with Kyrie's whole transformation in all.
Yeah.
When he came, I didn't think it would work because everywhere he went was basically a cancer, a head case.
Exactly.
Very much attention. And I don't know what Dallas has done. I don't know what Cuban has done. I don't know what Kid has done, but he's not anything like he has been his whole career. His whole career, it's been all about Kyrie. You didn't think that he would mesh with Luka because you would think he'd want to be the guy. He's always wanted to be the guy once he got away from LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
And he came in here and just did whatever needed to be done and has been Robin to the old Batman, and let Luka do Luka. And it's worked very well for the Mavericks. And, of course, the Gafford and the PJ Washington, they have both played a huge role in both of these series. Washington hit a huge shot in the corner leading up to that. Gafford had the play where he's all off balance and throws it up and it goes in. It has just worked. And I don't know. I don't think they're better. In my opinion, they're not better than Boston, but I think they give Boston a run. I don't think they just go in and get steamrolled. I still think Boston's the best team left.
You got to give a lot of credit. I'm not a big Mark Cuban fan. He sold away some of his stuff, and he brought in some people from Nike to help recruit people. We've got to give them a lot of credit. All right. They bring Kyrie Irving in, and I was like Craig, and a lot of people were skeptical of this guy. Okay. He's been a head case. He's not worked out other places. What made us different here in Dallas? Well, they found what made it difference. I don't know what it is. I think here it's the media is not in his face like he is everywhere else. He's not having to work and run. He's not having to play with LeBron, who it's like a circus there when you're playing with LeBron James. He's able to focus on just playing his best basketball. Then you look at the best trade deadline of this season. We got Gafford, we got PJ Washington, we drafted Lively, who Mark Cuban by himself doesn't believe in the draft. They were actually able to draft Lively, who's been a fantastic piece of this team.
And that was a tanking move that everybody got that were like freaking out last year, and that's a result of that. And honestly, like $750,000 fine. All right, I'll take it.
Lively's been
that was good.
beast. He's young. He's showing poise. Luka talked about the other day. For him to be doing all this stuff he's doing as a rookie is awesome. We definitely got a steal there. So it's got to be big hats off to the front office, who I'm usually not a big fan of, Mark Cuban, but they made some changes. They stuck with the team last year when we knew they weren't good enough, right, to win it last year. And this year they just look a lot better. I mean, the pieces they put together. And maybe Boston is a little better than us. I just don't know defensively. I think we're going to give them a run for their money. Do we win it this year? Maybe not. I hope we do. Luka deserves it, and they're playing lights out right now. The Timberwolves have no answers for him. Luka's able to have a lot of space, whether it's getting Gobert, as you just saw, on ice skates there and hit the game-winning three, pick and rolls. He's in the middle of the court. He knows Luka's very good at positioning his body and getting to the foul line. And Kyrie Irving takes over when he needs to. This team's just built different this year, and I'm really it's been a fun ride so far. But I thought Timberwolves would be a little bit better. Edwards has not seemed to take over like a superstar should, and you're waiting for him to take over. And they talk about on the broadcast is he needs to take over this basketball game, and he just doesn't.
Well, I mean, he's the next Michael Jordan, right?
Now he is young.
Talking about?
He is young.
But come on, that's just stupid.
But
that's so dumb. Like this whole notion of he's the next this and so's the next that and Luka's the next Bird. It's like, just stop. Let these people have their own legacy. Don't put a label on them and then what they have to. So now Anthony Edwards has to do all the things Michael Jordan did. Like, I mean, come on now, that's just stupid. The media does that crap and it gets really old. Really old.
Edwards is going to be, he's a star. He's going to be, a good basketball player. I'm not, comparing people to Michael Jordan, and you can't even compare basketball eras anymore. It's a completely
not even
game.
The same era.
It's not even the same physicality of basketball either. But I just think he's a little too young right now to know how to take over and win the game. And Reed was killing it the other night. He played the game of his life. He was like 8 of 10 from 3-point shots.
The last shot he shot, I'm like, oh man,
it looked good.
And Luka just looked around like, why didn't anyone just guard that one guy? Like,
that's a shot. That's a shot though. I want Edwards. If I'm a Timberwolves fan, I said Edwards should take that shot.
I don't think Edwards was going to make that shot.
He was quick to pass it up.
What was he for 3 on that game? Did he only make 2 threes that whole game, right?
Yeah.
There you go. I don't know what it is with him, because the thing about it is they said in like the fourth quarter, like 5 minutes left or something like that, 6 minutes left, he's in the back sucking on air.
Yeah, he's tired.
And I'm like, you're 22. I mean, I get it, but you called out Kyrie.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
32? So if you sit there and you're calling out a guy 10 years older than you, and that guy's literally still on the court, he's on the back sucking air. It just seems kind of interesting. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if he got injured in this game 7 or something with the Nuggets. But something's a little weird with that. I don't understand that, because I mean, you should be. And it's like the whole notion is, well, this is different. This is NBA playoff basketball. Like
it's weird when athletes like that, especially 22, come out and
Luka's got a sprained knee, sore left knee, Achilles soreness, back soreness, knees bleeding. And yet he's still scoring 33.
It's like when DeMarcus Lawrence said it with the Dallas Cowboys, we're tired. That's not an excuse. Everyone's tired at this point in the season.
Everyone's banged up at this point of the season. That's the other thing too. Like the analysts keep talking about Luka's injury, and I'm like, isn't everybody hurt? Pretty much everybody's. I'm pretty sure is hurt.
Yeah.
So I think it's fascinating. It's fun. It's fun to watch. It's so. I think another thing is people forget that Luka is 25. 25.
He's still young.
25, something like that.
Age. Off the top of my head.
But yet this guy has the poise of somebody who's 35. He has the knowledge, the basketball knowledge of somebody who's a lot older.
Yeah, he's 25.
And
Oh, yeah,
that
he's been
is-
playing since he was 15 in
it's
the Euro
incredible.
League.
It's
over there, so-
incredible. And that's the only thing is there's a few things. Do I think that Dallas is doing everything good? Not necessarily. The turnover is still a problem. I don't understand that. Sometimes we just kind of like lollygag the ball up and then someone just steals it. Or Luka will pass and he'll do like those dart passes, like full court pass, and I'm like, and then someone grabs it. Just turnovers like that, silly mistakes. Clean them up. That's all. Like I think if they clean that up, it's a different kind of. It would have been a different game, but we still won. But I think it would have. You just gotta protect the ball a little bit more.
If they don't have Reed shooting those threes the way he was,
No,
this
and that's
game is a
and that's
lot
the thing
different.
too. But I think this
Sixth
team.
man of the year though, Reed. He's been playing real good.
Yeah,
Real good.
I like the team. I like the way that they're playing, and I definitely, no matter what happens, whether or not we win this series out or not, and then we go on and play Boston, I think Boston is going to see a different Dallas team that they saw during the season. I think this is not the same Dallas team. I think that's what's getting jumbled up. Is everybody's focused on the length of the season and how they played and whatever. I think if you break it down, if you break even the last 20 games, they're a different team, and no one saw that because, again, towards the end, there was tons of races going on. The Nuggets were fighting for first. OKC was starting to win games. And, it was a lot going on, so nobody was paying attention to Dallas. But then if you look, they may have been one of the best teams going into the playoffs. They just were overshadowed by all these other races that were going on.
Craig, you
Yeah,
want to say something?
I think tonight's game is important because normally your role players don't play as well on the road as they do at home, and so Reed, we'll see how he shows up in Dallas, and they normally don't. It was impressive how Dallas's role players played in Minnesota. That's normally not something that takes place. So it'll be interesting to see how. And I think you're going to see Edwards put more pressure on himself tonight. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I think you're going to see him come out and really probably try to do it himself and try to play a better game because I'm sure he hears what's being said on how he hasn't really taken over and hasn't done enough. So I think you'll see him come out tonight in the first quarter, especially, and he probably takes 5 or 10 shots the first quarter and really tries to put it on himself. So we'll see.
I think he said that too recently in like an interview or something.
It's just coming. It's just common deal. I mean, Luka has heard. I'm sure Luka's heard all the things that people said about him, and he's come out and answered the bell. And it's just what these guys do. I mean, they say they don't listen. They say they don't hear it all, but they do.
Do you think that we're going to see not only more shot attempts, but I think if you do start kind of, I don't know, like pressing, you kind of like you see in baseball sometimes. It's like the guy's laboring through and he's just swinging at everything. And you're just like,
I think you better hope the first couple don't go in, and because if he gets the first couple to go, then he's really just going to deal. If the first couple don't go and he tries to force it and he starts really missing, then he's going to start really, pressing and it could get out of hand real fast.
Shoot themselves out of a ball game.
Yeah, 100%.
And don't foul the guy. Don't foul.
No.
Just don't do that because you're getting in foul trouble.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Anytime this guy goes in the paint, you sniff wrong or you blow a kiss.
The whistles have seemed to be much quicker in this playoff deal. They really seem to be erring on the side of protecting the player, I guess you'd call it. But it's really been the whistles have been quick.
Yeah,
I think we see aggressive Kyrie like he was game one. Kyrie knew game one I've got to come out. He even talked about it after game. I knew what it was going to take on the road in the Western Conference Finals, and he was aggressive. I think we see that at home with him, and then Luka closes it out.
Well, you saw it in Game 6. I mean, Kyrie took over the fourth quarter and just said, "Guys, I got it," and scores 14 against the Thunder in Game 6. I mean, that game they were down big almost the whole game, and then all of a sudden, here they come.
Yeah, this team is fun to watch, and it's
they're never out of it. I mean, they're never out of it.
It's the best Mavs team we've seen since they won it in 2011. So,
and
it's a very similar team.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like having. I don't remember in 2011 if we had two bigs. I know, obviously Tyson Chandler, but did we have another one like that?
I mean, Dirk, but he didn't play as a big. He played like Luka.
Dirk defense is god awful.
Now, this team is like that, but it's a lot younger, So we have
younger.
100%.
It's not going to be blown. If we win it, we're not going to blow it up.
The team you had in 11 was stacked with veterans.
Yeah.
Who? It's not PJ Washington. There's another player that has been insane, and I think he was the one guarding Jarris Alexander, guarding constantly. I don't think we got him. He was started the season with Dallas, and it's not PJ Washington.
Jones. There's a bigger
Derrick Jones Jr.
Derrick Jones Jr. Yeah.
Insane player. I mean, goodness sakes, this guy. And so, yeah, I was just like, where did this guy come from? Diving, grabbing rebounds, like just incredible. Like that dude is playing lights out. I mean, he's so good, and not just offensively. He is on people. He's pressuring people. He's getting his guy. Like he's diving for balls to give the rebound in case it goes past Lively or Gafford. This dude is nuts. Tipping balls back. Like he's incredible, man.
It's interesting. We've killed Kid a lot this season of who he's rotating, who he's putting on the court, but he's made some good adjustments in these playoffs. And it seems like he's turned that around, and I haven't had any complaints with him as of late.
Couple of mishaps in the Clippers series, but
you notice when all this happened, right? They started to gel right after he got his contact extension.
Coincidence?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Your job security, anybody that knows, they're not
That's
coaching
true.
for their lives, and all of a sudden the team just comes together and
yeah,
pretty coincidental. Well, I mean, right there at that game, right there around the 20 game mark with the left in the season, all of a sudden they all just come together and play, so I don't know. It just I mean, maybe it's totally non-related, but you just look at it and find out after Kid gets the extension and everybody's going to be around and coming forward. It's really came alive and really played the last half of the season, and then they played great in the playoffs.
Well, and the other thing too is the question mark would be, like why is Kyrie playing better? Or why is he a different player here? I don't know. I think it may be a mixture of the way Dallas approached Kyrie.
I mean,
I think
whatever it is.
It definitely. Kyrie really liked Kid. And so I think he definitely, that's a big factor. And then I think the way he's approaching being with Dallas, being okay to be a 2.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. He's never done that. Yeah. He's always talked about wanting to be the one after leaving LeBron. He's always wanted that. And to come here and accept, I know Luka's the guy, and I'm going to be the wingman, and I'm going to play, and I'm not going to complain, and I'm not going to cause any distractions. That's all been things that he hasn't done everywhere else he's gone.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is I think the Dallas organization is approaching him in a respectable way. There's multiple.
I mean, the media, like Brian said, the media not being all in his face and not having the circus of LeBron probably helps.
Yeah. And I think, and it's like, I think recently, like when he signed a contract extension, I think that he said that they literally approached it in a respectable way. They weren't sitting there playing games. They weren't, doing smoke screens with stuff and low ball. And I think that's a huge thing. And I think no matter what happens in this playoffs, I think Kyrie's happy here. I think he's happy with Luka, and I think he's happy
to be happier
with
that he's
Kid.
been anywhere other than maybe Cleveland when they were winning.
Right.
We all know how that ended, though.
You want to shift it to the other series, Brian, or?
Yes, sir. Sorry, I was looking up something real quick. We want to shift it to the NHL playoffs. Craig's specialty here.
Well, did you want to cover the Indiana series,
Oh.
or are you just giving up on that?
Indiana series, it's over. They're
Yeah.
down 3-0. Boston's
No,
the
it's
best.
not. Rick
team.
Carlisle's pissed.
Is he?
They didn't even
Is that
get a
why he
shot
pulled the
off the other
starters
night.
with 8 minutes to go in game 2? They're down 8, and he pulls all the starters. I mean, I don't know if Rick's on Prize Picks or what he's got going on. If he's got a parlay in the game or whatever.
So
but
parlay.
he pulls all the starters with 8 minutes to go. And just goes, yeah, white flag, throw it in there.
What's fascinating about both these teams, and this is what makes it even more fascinating, because no matter what happened, if Dallas gets through this series here, no matter who they played, it was going to be some kind of circus. Because
Absolutely.
you got Rick Carlisle coming around, who him and Luka butted heads, and it was this big ordeal and whatever. And Luka didn't want him there anymore. And then you have and then the other one is Jason Kidd, who was coached by Carlisle when they won in 2011, right? So then
or Kyrie going back to Boston.
Or Kyrie going back to Boston. It's very fascinating how the tables turn, right?
There's not really much to talk about over there, and that's because Boston is going to sweep it, and they're going to be waiting on this series. I'm hoping we don't give them too much rest. I hope we sweep Timberwolves for 5 games or something like that.
Could be a good thing or a bad thing, though, the rest.
Yeah.
The thing about it, too, also is what is the better teams? Like, I know that a lot of teams, like right now, it's like, oh, Boston's just going in there and doing whatever they want. The West seems like, are these the best teams? Sometimes you have NFL, and it's like, oh, the AFC is better than the NFC, or the NFC is better than the AFC. Is the West better than the East?
The West is better than the East, in my opinion. In the Eastern Conference,
I don't know. I mean,
you've got,
are there more contending teams in the East versus the West, or the West versus the East? I guess that's
there's more teams, but Boston is clearly, I think, probably one of the best teams. Probably Boston and then Denver.
Boston might be the best team in basketball.
Yeah. In my opinion.
But you want to look at, if we're looking at what the better division, the better conferences, I'd have to say, oh, that's pretty tough. Because you got some young teams in the West. You got, the Thunder at 1, the Pelicans were 8. The Pelicans had a pretty good year, right?
Right. I mean, even if you look at the Mavericks record versus even the Knicks record, they're the same. Yeah. Mavericks were 5.
Knicks were 2.
And
it's usually been that way, where the Western Conference is better than the Eastern Conference in a long, long time in the NBA. Right. We might have saw a little bit shift where it's kind of evened out a little bit. The Cavaliers are a young team that's been surprising this year. The Magic were the number 5 seed over there this year. They were surprised.
I think coming forward, the East is going to have some more younger teams coming up. But right now, I think the West is just way stronger.
Okay.
The 76ers relies on the health of Embiid, and the Bucks. 100%. The Bucks this year was a disappointing, losing to the Pacers, and they didn't mesh well.
I blame that on the coaching change when you were 34 and 13. I makes no sense to me. I don't care what the guy did. You fire a guy who's 34 and 13 and go with a guy who and Doc Rivers, who is just he hasn't had any real success other than the one win in Boston, but overall he's just not. I don't know. I think that was a terrible move.
Terrible. Yeah. The Heat are better than the 8th seed, in my opinion.
They had a lot of injuries, Tyler Hero and some things like that. I think that's the guy in Spoelstra that has been consistent throughout his whole career.
I think we're going to see a shift where the Eastern Conference catches up to the strength of the Western Conference eventually.
Maybe not next year, but maybe in the next couple of years, yeah.
Yeah, I think the Knicks are around to stay. They're pretty young. Brunson's young. He's been dominant.
He's done a whole lot better over there being the guy than I thought he would. I thought he would. He wanted to be the guy, and he would go out there and kind of falter, and he hasn't. He's really played really well in New York.
Got to give him some credit. I think, it's pretty close, but I give it to Western Conference, definitely. The Suns were a big disappointment this year, being the number 6 seed, losing the first round. They fired their head coach.
When are we going to get to the point where super teams don't work anymore? It's starting to show its ugly little
we're at it.
self.
I think we're at it this year.
Okay. Because this whole the Suns got together and they were like, "Here we go," and
It's
I'm like, I don't know.
it's a
you say
2-star
that,
league. You got to
you
have
say
2 guys,
that, but
pretty much.
they're all talking about joining up with LeBron and one final ride and
LeBron's
I hope
not
that
a-
doesn't
Come
work.
on, this Bronny
LeBron's not
going.
I don't know. I think LeBron is done. Yeah, he might. He
just
can go be
hanging
a
on,
decent piece,
just
but
hanging on to play with Bronny. That's all he's
that's
doing.
it.
You know,
Who's drafting Bronny? They say he's going to go first overall, and I'm like, oh my
Come
god,
on.
are you kidding me?
he shouldn't even be drafted.
He averaged 2 points in college. Like, what are we doing here?
And he really shouldn't be playing. I mean,
And
he almost died.
From what I heard, his brother's better than him.
Oh, the whole family's better than him. It's just his dad's name.
The mom's better than him.
Mom's out there dunking on him. Take that, Bronny. No, I don't know. I'm just. I don't know. We'll see. Does he stay with the Lakers? Does he go somewhere else? I don't know. If I'm Bronny, I want to be drafted because I'm good, not because of who my dad is.
He doesn't care. He's gonna get paid.
It is what it is.
He'll be undrafted, but anyhow, anybody drafts him that does draft him is just trying to get him out of LA. All right.
Jump over to hockey. Jump over to hockey. I've been watching a lot
do
more
our hockey
this
intro.
Year. Let's do it.
All right.
Hit it.
There we go.
All right, let's get into some hockey, Craig.
Eastern Conference is going to be an absolute just haymaker after haymaker. Yeah. It's 1-1, and they're tied 2-2 right now in the middle of the second. Those two teams are both absolutely top-notch. They both have amazing goalies. They both have solid lines. They're both going to give whoever comes out of the West fits. The path that's left, is very difficult for anybody. But yeah, those two teams. That goalie for Florida is just Bobovsky is just absolutely some of the saves he's made are just insane.
He's been.
I remember they played a game in Dallas. Dallas was up big by 2 or 3 goals, and this guy starts standing on his head in the middle of the game, and Florida comes back and beats him in overtime. They're just Florida's faster. They like to play the upbeat, up and down the ice, where the Rangers are more of the like type. Vegas was, and but the Rangers are very young. I thought they had a chance last year to make a run, and they failed quickly and fell out early in an early round. And this year has been the year they win the President's Trophy by 1 point over Dallas, and they haven't had the President's Trophy curse. That has been several years in a row where they've gotten knocked out early. They're around, and they're even if they get eliminated by Florida, it was still a hugely successful season.
Who's your favorite to win that series?
I have to say Florida just because of the goaltender. But the Rangers are the more talented team.
They're up right now 2-1 in the second.
So it's 2-2 on my. I just looked and it said it was 2-2.
Well, I don't know. I'm looking at it right now. It says 2-1, but I don't know how maybe ours is a little off.
Anyhow. Yeah, no. I just think that series goes 7. I don't see how it doesn't. Yeah, I think that series goes 7 because of the teams and the goaltenders. And
if you're a Stars fan, which me and you are, Craig, to me, watching the Stars and watching them to the playoffs, we bowled well playing the fast-paced team than the bogged down team. We played better against the Colorado Avalanche
100%,
than we do with the other teams that want to beat you up. So we're hoping maybe that Florida wins.
Yes.
just
Yeah,
because we match up
100%.
better. But
You don't want to see their
goaltender is-
goaltender. You don't want to see
Yeah.
their goaltender, but I would much rather see Florida than I would the Rangers. They did not play well against the Rangers at all. Every time they played them this year, I believe that would be a very short-lived series. I believe the Stars probably lose that in 5, maybe 6. I think the Florida Panthers give you a better chance to go, and that's if they make it by
If they make it by the Oilers, man, they're tough.
Edmonton. Edmonton is got your probably 3 top players, and they've done something very interesting since the coaching change, and they've split McDavid and Draisaitl. That used to be the top line in hockey, and they've split them up. And the only time, if you noticed last night, they used them together. Once Marchment got the second goal, they put them together for the rest of the night, trying to create the offense, trying to create the spark to tie the game. They've been putting them together on the shift after a power play kill, like a penalty kill. They've been putting those two together to try to catch a goal right after a penalty kill. And the penalty kill they had has been insane. 20 in a row they've killed off. That's just unheard of.
We can't even get into the
puck
zone.
into the zone.
Jeez.
Yes,
that's
100%.
how dominant they have been.
I mean, they're losing. The Dallas Stars are one of the best face-off teams in hockey. They're probably on average on a given game 85 to 90% on face-offs, 80% on a bad day on face-offs, and they're losing every face-off in a power play, which is creating a thing. They clear the puck, and Dallas trying to go back in. They had 5 power plays on the first in game 1, and I bet they only had 3 shots in the 5 power plays.
Yeah. It's frustrating because they have 4 guys right there at the line, and just getting into the zone, you have 5 guys is difficult.
On the power play they at least got a couple shots off. And the first period was horrendous. How they were down or how they were tied, I'll never know.
It was 16 shots to like 2 in 4. The first
16
period.
to 4.
Oh.
And I was like, this is terrible first half. Yeah. Now we won this game. Surprise.
Yeah. 3-1, right? 3-1.
Yeah.
So we tied up series.
3-1 on an empty. I don't really count that.
Oh. 2-1.
Yeah. So yes. It's I think Dallas has to win game 3. I think the game Monday night, I think is your very important game. Otter has looked amazing, but you need to play better in front of him. Last night he got run into multiple times.
He got blasted. One of them.
I know one of them was his own guy. I get it. But there was a couple different times where they were – and Dallas, they've just abandoned that. They've abandoned – Pavelski has been he hasn't been heard of in the first 2 series. They need to get guys back in front of the net. You see, I don't know how many times you saw a centering pass last night, and there's nobody there. There's nobody there to put the puck in the net. And Otter needs to do a better job.
Get hurt being out.
Yes, hopefully he's back for game 3. He was supposed to be back last night. I don't know if there was a setback. I was very surprised to see him. What I did like last night was the Ty Dellandrea move instead of Foska. Radek has played okay, but I just like what Dellandrea brings to the game. He just brings a different energy. He just brings his shots better. I'm a Ty Dellandrea fan, and I like when he's in the lineup. I don't, when he's a healthy scratch, I think the team is better when Dellandrea plays.
Yeah.
But I think the addition of Rupe being back, and I'll tell you a guy who needs to show up.
Robo, where the hell's he been?
1,000,000%. He has not been here the entire playoff.
Nothing.
I am a huge fan. I have the sweater. I have been a Robo fan since day one. But this kid has the last 2 seasons in the playoffs has just absolutely disappeared. Last year he had 49 goals and then goes to the playoffs and disappears. And then they called him out a little bit, and he kind of showed up in the West Finals, but it was too late. The series was already over because they were down 3-0 against Vegas. He showed up in a couple of the games that tried to get him back in it, but this kid has been non-existent I bet he doesn't have 5 points through the whole playoffs. Yeah. And that's just unheard of.
There's sometimes watching them, and they sit on the
and I understand. Too. I understand they showed the banner last night of the whole, spread it around and nobody's complaining about minutes and nobody's complaining about they could have had 4 guys that had 50 points and could have had more goals, but they bought into team effort. I'm all about that. But Wyatt Johnson's on the same team and he's out here scoring 7 goals and 8 goals in the playoffs. All I want is a couple, Robo. Like, show up and give me something. I mean, last night he had a shot, and the announcers are like, I think everybody, including Say, thought he was going to shoot that. Like, he just won't pull the trigger. I don't understand. Robo has been your top point getter in almost every deal. And
Rangers up 3-2 right now.
Okay. So
little update.
And like I said, I think the Stars just match up better. I think the Stars beat Edmonton in the long run just because of goaltending. Skinner has been better than I expected, but what they need to do.
Skinner's been good, man.
He has been, but he really, to be honest, he hasn't had to really make tough saves. Everything has been at his chest, everything in the deal. To beat Skinner, he's a big-bodied goalie. He's not small. He's like 6'5", 230. And, you need to get him to move laterally. So you need to move the puck and get him to move east to west. The shot that Ben beat him on last night, he moves to the right because Ben's on the right wing, and Ben beats him to the left side in the bottom corner. Like, you've got to get him moving east to west when you're shooting everything at his chest. And elevate the puck. When it's in front of the net, take it and put it in the top corner, not try to go between his legs or put it in his chest. Yeah. The guy is huge, and he squares up, and the whole net's covered. Go up over the shoulder and go where it belongs.
There's been some times where I've seen Dallas go, and I'm like, all right, cool, he's going to shoot it. And then they look for a pass. I'm like, what? And even the broadcast
times.
They just need to throw the puck at. Sometimes you got to throw the puck at the net.
Well,
and instead they look for a pass that's not there. I'm like,
that's
just
what
take
they did
shot.
Against Colorado. They just picked puck. I mean, how many shots did they have? 25, 30 a night. And Pottinger's got to do better at rebounds. He's got to get the puck when he gives out a rebound. It can't be out in front. It's got to be off to the side to the trapezoids. It has to be, or hold on to it. I mean, I don't know. He held on to one last night, and they kept beating at it, and they didn't blow the whistle, and the puck comes squirting out, and they keep playing. Meanwhile, Ottinger's laying on the ice, because he just got smacked with a stick 14 times. He
got beat in the 5-hole a couple times. I'm like,
once
cover up your 5-hole, bub.
Wait, it goes to reach out in front of him, and I mean, just once it's that far out, and I don't know about you, but it gives me anxiety every time he comes out of the net and goes behind and handles the puck. I'm like, just go back in the blue. Just stay in the blue deal. Just stay in your blue sometimes. Circle. Yeah, I just the first time he gets beat, I'm gonna lose my mind because he wasn't in the goal.
We got really lucky to win Game 2.
Yes, you got outplayed for
terrible first period.
You got played out for 2 periods, and you did play better the third. Yes, 100%. But you should have won Game 1, so I'm pretty sure it's even. You played better Game 1. You had 5 power plays. You didn't score any of those, and you let the best player in hockey stand in front of the net wide open, and he beats your goalie in 30 seconds in a double overtime. You can never. Connor McDavid takes that shot with nobody around him. 94% of the time, he's going to beat your goalie. It's just not going to happen. They've done for other than leaving him in double overtime wide open. They've done a great job at slowing him down. And like we were talking about early in basketball, Connor McDavid is feeling the pressure of having to do everything on his own. And he's trying to do that. And
Man, I stayed up double overtime. Let's go. We're gonna win it. 30 seconds in to overtime too. They score. I was like, are you kidding me? Son of a gun. It's been playoff hockey is intense, man. It's intense. Every shot they put on the goal, you're like, what? And
yeah, dude. Absolutely.
So, all right, well, let's move it over to, before we wrap this podcast up, let's move it over to a little bit of baseball here. Jeff, you got to be happy with the way the Yankees have started, man. They look like the best team right now in baseball. So talk about that a little bit, I guess.
I mean, it's early. It's good early, but they're gelling.
Early.
They're gelling, man.
Soto's been absolutely on a heater.
They are doing it quick, and I was very shocked. Now, again,
that's what she said.
we all hey, it's
Sorry.
not this
Sorry.
podcast. No, I'm kidding. So we baseball to me is like, what are we gonna do in this is the dad pod? What are you talking? This is not the dad pod podcast.
My bad.
Get that out of here.
That was not supposed to pop up.
Don't get this confused.
Quit hitting buttons.
He's just randomly clicking stuff.
Sorry,
no,
I like this presentation.
Brian's over there having a stroke.
I like the presentation look. Who's talking? You know what? Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah.
So no, yeah.
Trying to promote your own podcast.
Stop that. Taken away from this one. So
total accident. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so yeah, it's just
last night.
Baseball is just one of those, man, where it's like, yeah, we could be doing great right now, man. It's just after the All-Star break is when I really start taking it a lot more seriously. I take it seriously. Don't get me wrong. I want them to come out of the gate, go. But it's kind of one of those where you know that second half is so much more important. The trade deadline is so much more important. Health is so much more important down the stretch. So I think they're managing the team better. Giancarlo Stanton's DHing, perfect. Get him out of there. He doesn't need to be playing position anyway. He's going to get hurt if he does. The other thing too is Judge doesn't have to be the guy to do it all the time.
He does not.
Soto is backing him up, and Soto is not only what I love about this player. He's patient at the plate. It's exactly what the Yankees want a player. They want, whether you get on base with a walk or not, doesn't matter. The person coming behind you is Judge. So these roles that Soto's been playing, where he can hit a home run, he can crank one right out of the park, but then also he's getting these doubles, and he's getting a single, and he's getting walks, and he's doing these little things that the Yankees have struggled to do for a long time because they were such a home run heavy hitter kind of team. They're starting to play small ball. Volpe playing small ball. This guy's stealing bases. He's getting triple. The other day, at a triple off of Darvish, I think. So it's just like, and they're hitting, and then Stanton's hitting home runs, and Verdugo's
Stanton has had an amazing first 2 months.
Absolutely, he's not playing a position role. That's the main thing.
He hit a ball 121 miles an hour the other day off the bat.
Yeah, all he's got to do is hit.
I still don't know if it's landed.
I mean, all he's got to do is hit. That's it. And when you got a player, it's like David Ortiz. I was telling that to Brian the other day. David Ortiz was one of the greatest DH players of all time, man. He was so good, and all he did was hit. He didn't play anything else. So it's just like, this is what Stanton's role is. We still have Domingo Hernandez in AAA. I don't think he's coming back. Verdugo's hitting so well. There's no reason to bring him. Honestly, I think you can leave the Martian out of there, and just let him play whatever he needs to do in AAA. I don't think we need him right now, unless something happens to Verdugo gets injured, then you bring him in. But other than that, and plus think about this: the Yankees first in OPS, first in ERA, in all of baseball. That's incredible. We're doing this at a time where our ace isn't even played a start.
Yeah.
Garrett Cole hasn't played anything. He's doing simulated games right now. So it just everything's kind of fit into place. And the other thing too is a lot of people do not really know who Anthony Volpe is. Well, figure it out because he's doing it. Like he is a amazing talent that is being kind of overshadowed with all the crazy home runs and the whatever because he plays defense so well and he hits these singles and he tries to steal bases and he's very crafty on the base path and stuff. So this is another guy that I think once this team starts getting better and better and better, and then I think eventually people will start understanding that Anthony Volpe is a huge part of this as well. He's gotten way better than he was last year, and he won a Gold Glove last year.
Yeah, he's on the
So it's
fantasy.
just
He's on the fantasy roster.
yeah, I love it. I love it. I want it to
I
keep
think
going.
the Phillies are the only team that's even close to as has even close to the start that the Yankees have had.
Oh yeah,
And,
yeah. I think Phillies
know,
are 37, Yankees have 36 wins or something
yeah,
like that.
and
The Phillies right now got it up.
Atlanta took a huge blow today in Acuna.
They already lost their ace, right? Tommy John, their ace pitcher.
Well, yeah, but they also
Atlanta.
Acuna crumpled over on the base path today with a no contact injury, and it looks like it may be his knee again. So
Nice. Terrible.
that
Yeah,
could be a
Phillies
huge
are
loss
30
for
and
them.
15, and the Yankees are 37 and 17.
Yeah.
So some other good teams. The Guardians are 35 and 17, which who saw that coming?
That division's terrible.
Milwaukee's been better than expected.
I mean, the only thing the Yankees have to really pay attention to in terms of at least our division
Baltimore.
is Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're young.
Well, and that kid's been off to a smoking start.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I can't deny the fact that our bullpen has been playing better, and I think everybody understood our bullpen was still pretty good. Our starting pitching was good. It's just we needed those bats. We needed something in our lineup that gave a threat to an opposing pitcher that allowed Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge to be seen and you forced to be pitched to. And so we haven't really had that. And now we have it with Soto and all these things. And you have Hal Steinbrenner coming out saying he's going to do whatever it takes to bring Soto back, which is weird. They don't typically, even as much as Soto and the Scott Boras agents or players don't typically sign midseason or anything like that. The Yankees also don't typically give midseason contracts either. Usually they avoid it because it creates so much distraction. We tried that one time with Cano and it was a disaster. So it was just like, I think that the Yankees are really excited and proud of this player. I think Judge and him are like best buds out there, man. They're always just, giving each other praise or whatever. And the fan base has been chanting MVP of this guy from the moment he started playing, and they haven't stopped. I mean, the fans are showing him love because he's playing so well. Like it's this weird thing where it seems like the perfect fit. And I know a lot of people are like the Mets out there. The Mets are going to go out and spend, and they're going to go crazy. And I'm like, I wonder if I mean the Yankees are going to spend their money, and that's fine. But I wonder if because the way that this team and his organization's put together, I just think that the Mets are the Mets, but I think the Mets are a long way off than just adding Soto to their team. That's pretty obvious this season.
Yeah, we still got a long way to go in baseball. The
Rangers, what's
right
going
now
on,
are
Brian?
absolutely garbage.
What's
right
happening?
now.
Injuries?
We are so injured. It's not even funny. Well, there is talks about our third baseman coming back sooner than later. He just got cleared for on-field activities.
Yeah, he's close.
We've lost our whole starting pitching has basically been injured. We've lost so many people. Evaldi's coming back soon. We're gonna get there. I think and my biggest concern with the Rangers isn't all the injuries, right? That's something that you can't control. You got to kind of survive it. My big concern is our offense. We're slumping. We've been in a slump all season. Corey Seager, now he's hit 4 home runs in the last 4 games, so he's kind of maybe coming out of it. But we can't score points. We won today 6-2, which shocked me because we don't put up a lot of points. Before that we lost 6 straight games. 2-8 in our last 10. We're second place right now behind Seattle, 3.5 games back. And I know we got a long way to go. I'm just hoping that this bad start doesn't come back to hurt us in the end when we're trying to win our division, trying to get in the playoffs where we've kind of dug ourselves too big of a hole. Our biggest hope for the Rangers is that we start scoring runs and we get everyone back healthy. Max Scherzer was looking to maybe come back earlier than normal. He took another hit. We're hoping DeGrom, and I was looking around August, but DeGrom's a big question mark on whether he's going to be there or not.
Normally, as late as he went down, I wouldn't expect him to do much this year.
So that's where the Rangers are. I think a lot of fans are a little frustrated, and maybe it's the World Series hangover.
Well,
I'm
and
not
it's always,
sure.
it's always very difficult when you have the bullseye on your chest to be the world champs. Everybody comes in and wants to play their best against you. It's just how it was. When the Giants won theirs every year after, they didn't make the playoffs. They win in 2010, they don't make it in 2011. They win in 2012, they don't make it in 2013. They win in 2014. Like the even year deals. It just the year after you have the bullseye on your chest.
Yeah, and even when our pitchers did pitch, like John Gray would go out and pitch and give up a run, and we'd lose 1-0 because we couldn't score runs. And I'm like, when you get these dimes for your pitchers, you've got to win those games. And the only good thing about it is our whole division's been garbage. Seattle's been bad. Houston Astros,
and I think that gives you the time.
So we're not panicking yet. But we just need to get healthy, and I think hopefully we get healthy, get out of the slump, and get our pitching rotation back. And if anybody can turn the team around, I believe in our coach and Bochy to do so. So,
I mean, and again, you want it to come at the perfect time, which is the second half. That's
right.
Yeah. And the thing is, go ahead. You're good.
The Giants have had multiple, speaking of the injury bug, I mean, they lose their center fielder in Jung-Ho Kim for the season. He goes to make a catch over the fence and separates his shoulder. Snell has been nothing. I guess it's because he didn't have spring training. He's just been getting shelled. Now he's on paternity leave. You've got a couple guys coming off. They have a setback with the one of the guys coming back because he was trying to compensate for the other injury and injure something else. But they've won 8 of the last 10. They lose a heartbreaker today in the bottom of the 9th against the Mets, but they're playing better. And Chapman and Soler are finally, Chapman and Soler were hitting a combined like 190, and they're finally both up in the 240s. Chapman got robbed of a home run today. Bader robbed him of a home run today. That would have been his 7th one in like the last 5 games or 6 games. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they finish here. But and the Dodgers lose. They just get swept by the Reds, so that helps. They're starting to come back to the field a little bit. They had a 12-game lead. Now the Giants are in second place. They're only like 6 back. But lose a chance to gain a game today. But they're playing better, and we'll see. It'll be interesting to see.
We went to a game against the Angels the other night last weekend. They went to 13 innings. What a game it was. We ended up winning the game because they intentionally walked Corey Seager, which they've done it. They did it like 3 times that game. Well, it kind of finally came back to bite them in the ass because they walked him, which loaded the bases, and the next pitch they hit low, so it walked and it hit the game-winning run in for us. It was a crazy game. I had the Mavericks pulled up on my phone watching the ending of that as well. So it was a pretty crazy game.
Surprised they didn't have it up at the
and I don't know.
Right. They showed something, but then they went right back to the game. I want to point out, Rangers, I'm just putting it out there. Every time I've gone to the new stadium, we never lost. All right. So you want to give me some season tickets, and we can win the rest of them too. But
you lose like the one game that matters. Or like
one game.
After donated season tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like no more, Brian.
No more for you. All right, guys.
Oh,
Well, I think
and
that's
I
gonna.
went to the World Series where we clinched.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot the what's in our locker segment here.
Well, and
Um,
the other thing too, I'll just say this about baseball is as much as everybody sits there and is like, oh, there are other sports that are harder to win championship. Baseball's a tough thing to win a championship. I'm telling you, not just win
Yeah,
it once,
it's
but win it multiple times.
yeah.
That is
That's why you don't see back to
insane.
back like that very often.
No, and that's it's insane. It's 162 games. Then that's not including the playoffs, and now you have added extra teams in there, so you have more playoff games because you have a play-in and these wild card games that go around where it's one is a one game play-in, and then you have to figure out that, and then this wild card matchup, and that's different. So it's tough, man. It's baseball is one of those where it's got to bounce your way every time. You got to have those lucky bounces
It's
and
just
those
too
lucky
long of a
things.
grind. The 162. Everybody's gonna deal with injuries. It's just a matter of when and how many.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up here. Let's get into what's in our locker. And Jeff, since you're front and center, sir, what's been in your locker?
Work and just some event stuff comes up with book stuff, and which has been crazy. Sat yesterday to an event, and then I think last year I grew a tomato plant. I'm growing another one from work. They gave it to me, so I'm just hardening it right now. So I'm putting it outside every 3 or 4 hours a day for another week or so, and then it should be done. And then I'll pot it and stuff and see if it'll grow again. So work's been
Exciting.
kind of crazy, huh?
I said exciting.
It's kind of cool, actually. I mean, I grew some tomatoes last year, and I was like, never grew anything in my life, um, so that was cool. But yeah, so work has been busy and crazy. Getting, they're end up gonna get a new location here in the next year because it's too much stuff that they have there. So, um, other than that, just trying to kind of pay attention to some of the pre-football stuff. I watched some more videos of some of the rookie mini camps. I want to see what Bonix does and see his mechanics and stuff. So that's kind of interesting. Um, and then obviously just hyper focused on Mavs. Game starts. What time does it start today?
7.
7. Okay. Getting ready for that. So I gotta cook something for that. So, but that's and then baseball obviously just that's such a long. We're so it's so early. So it's like but yeah, super proud of the Yankees and glad to see them kind of figure it out without these question marks and injuries and nonsense, coaching play calls and stuff like that. So, but yeah, what about Brian? Are you next? Your turn, Brian.
Sure, I'll be next. All right. It's been interesting. I start my new job Monday, tomorrow. So I got fired from my last job. Then I'll go into details about that. So I've had off this week, which has been kind of nice because I've been able to go to my girls' last week of school. So they had their awards and their class parties, and my oldest is going into middle school. So we went and did a clap out for her. They clap them out of the school and kind of send them off because they go into middle school next year. Just had a week off and found a job super quick. I start there Monday. Excited for the opportunity and making more money. So that's always a plus part of it. So orientation. So we got the first episode coming out tomorrow of the Dad Bod podcast. So listen to that. And we just did an episode last night as well. So we're going to put those out each month, once a month for now, and go from there. So come listen to that. That's why the Dad Bod podcast logos were up all ago. But
It was
come look at, yeah, of course they are. I'll just drop a little. I'm going to drop those hints every episode. Now come listen to it. It's just some kind of life advice and life talk that me and my buddy do, and different things. But been able to watch the Stars and Mavericks and keep a close eye on them, and it's been a fun watch. And hopefully they Hopefully they both win it all. And then we can just sit back and laugh at the Cowboys for being such a failure around these parts. But all right, Craig.
Of course, there had to be a jab.
You're up, buddy. What is in your locker, sir?
Oh, not much. Just gonna go shopping here for the week and get home and make dinner and get ready for another week. And hopefully this rain stays out of here. It's been too much. It really just makes the yard go crazy and everything like that. So other than that, I don't really have a lot going. Just get some shopping done and get ready. And that's about it.
Yeah, it's supposed to rain all week except tomorrow, unless it's already, Jeff, it's already like 97 tomorrow. Like,
whoa.
Yeah.
It's getting ridiculous again already. So
the end of May.
This is our life now in Texas. It's 115 is the normal, and terrible.
It rains here every day.
The bugs are terrible. The bugs are terrible. You know,
the grass grows like crazy,
yeah.
but you can't mow it because it's always wet.
Yeah, because it's
come on. Like, I gotta break.
Yeah. It's 71. So
this must be nice. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's your episode 228. We covered the NBA playoffs. We covered the NHL playoffs and some MLB action. Gave you our week's been going like. We hope you have a fantastic week. God bless, and remember,
keep it outspoken.
Keep it outspoken.